All right, guys. So our first story is about Manga Rock and Tristan. I would like to record the show, and I'm being very humble with this. I called it. I called it. I'm being very humble. So humble. Hashtag I called it.
Hashtag Humblebrag.
Now, would you like to explain what I called?
Sure,
You read the article.
I did.
What did I call about Manga Rock? We've talked about this before. What did I call?
They're bullshit?
I mean, yes, but no. Tristan. Does he not listen to me when I talk? Tristan, what did I say last time about them that came out with this article that is completely accurate? I feel like we're back in middle school.
I mean,
Solve the problem.
they're rebranding themselves
Yes.
and trying to go legit.
Exactly. And that's the whole funny thing about this. So when we talked
Right.
about this the first time, if you guys don't know Manga Rock, they are a website and an app. I don't know if it should be a website, and it definitely is an app. It was
Yeah.
even available on the Google Play Store. That makes it seem
Right.
legitimate. However, they are pirates.
It
Now
is
some
not.
They are not. And some people might go, yeah, but who cares about them being pirates? And in that situation, all right, fair. We have a difference of opinion. But what matters the most isn't just that they're pirates, it's that they had paid subscriptions and they weren't paying for the licensing rights for the manga at the time. So there's a difference between saying, hey, this will never come out here, so I would like to share it, versus, or I'd like to translate it or something like that, versus I'm going to sell this or sell the a streaming service, not streaming, but a subscription service that allows you to get more of it and download more of it and things like that. And
Right.
more importantly as well, isn't just the subscription aspect of it, but they also took from scanlators who of course would have disclaimers like, hey, please don't buy this, hey, please don't pay for this is not for that, we're putting this out because this isn't out in the US,
Yeah.
etc., etc. And they took that and they were making money off that. And the thing is that, the reason why I'll disagree with some people online and, there might be a difference in opinion there is because of the fact that you can't compete with another service if they don't have to pay anything for the product. That
Yeah.
isn't capitalism. Capitalism is we fight on the same playing field, the same rules. You cannot fight against another. That's your Tristan. He's shifty-eyed me. Tristan, would you like to share something with the class?
No, God.
Tristan, do you have some of that sass for the entire class, Tristan?
I'm okay, Ginpachi Sensei.
No, but seriously, what I mean by that, Tristan, though, is it should be at its core. You and I, Tristan, let's say we both have, $1,000, right, to spend. We both license a manga for $1,000, just hypothetical, and then we both put them on our streaming platforms that we don't have, but let's pretend that we do. And then if we have to race to the bottom, so be it. We're racing to whatever the cheapest is. That's what Shonen Jump is doing. This is not a plug. Their app is actually $2 for all the manga on it. Not all, but for a decent chunk of the manga.
Though.
What? It could. Tristan says it could be a plug, but it actually legitimately is not.
It is not.
So I bring that up though because again they pay. Tristan, stop. He's eyebrowing. Tristan, stop. No, but they're paying. Even though they are Shonen Jump, so you would think they have an in, they are still paying the Japanese side tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. I would argue in the millions at this point, obviously, with the large chunk of manga that they have within their library.
Yeah.
So they're not getting it for free. If they could get it for free, well then any of us can be a conglomerate. But that's not how any of this works. Because the authors and the original creators don't get that money back. So that's what I'm trying to get at here. Either way, with all that set up aside, I read their statement last time. If you didn't get to hear it last time, I'm going to read it again. And I wish we had a laugh track on the soundboard. And by the way, the company behind this is called Basement Studio. Great name, actually. I gotta put that out there. That's a great name. So the statement they released was, at the time, and this is referring to them when they first started in college in 2010. Let the record show it was in 2010, so it's been 9 years. So they said, at the time, we didn't understand the manga industry, and we didn't know the origin of the scanlations. And then in parentheses, they said, including things without official licenses, closes parentheses. As time has passed, we have come to understand the damage being incurred by manga creators and publishers. Moreover, as Manga Rock's popularity increased more and more, the damage also increased. Therefore, we are deeply reflecting on our role in accelerating the popularity of scanlations, and we give our heartfelt apologies to the victims, manga creators, and publishers. As a result, we plan to shut down our scanlation website and app. We also recommend that similar scanlation sites, and then in close parentheses there are many, shut down as well. We are truly sorry for causing problems for the manga industry. Now, the reason why I said that they were bullshit, not because they said they were closing down and they haven't because they've rebranded. I said they were BS because you can't sit here and tell me for 9 years you didn't know the law when you actually have copyrights on your app that say, hey, all this belongs to the original publishers and authors, and you're also putting it out for money. Like, again, there's a big difference between someone saying, oh, I didn't know it was illegal to share something that isn't available in my region. Technically, that is illegal, yes.
Yeah.
I understand, though, someone saying, hey, but it's never going to come out here. So I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that it is technically illegal. I understand someone going, hey, I didn't know that. But that is much different than saying, yeah, we got all of Naruto on here. It's like, well, first of all, why did you pronounce it?
We've been a company for 9 years profiting off of this, but we
didn't know.
We just didn't know.
First of all, why'd you pronounce it Naruto? Secondly, it's written out. Well, why'd you pronounce it Naruto? I didn't pronounce it Naruto. I pronounced it Naruto. Well, I read it as no, but seriously, that is the first thing. Now they have rebranded. So again, win me. This wasn't a game. There was no scoreboard, but apparently there's now one in my favor. Manga Rock has now become MR Comics.
Let me put it on there.
Oh, you're gonna. Oh, okay, yeah. He's gonna write.
No, it's all.
Oh, okay. Tristan, we'll buy you a scoreboard.
There we go.
So anyway.
It's there. You can't see it, but it's there.
Oh, okay, yeah. He drew it on his Star Wars background. So anyway, Tristan, look, I'm not saying this is a bad business model. In fact, this is why I said they were going to do it, because it's a good business model to rebrand into MR Comics. You want to know what I consider the problem, though, Tristan?
Yeah.
It is 9 years too late. Or if they started in 2010, it's like 7 years too late.
Yeah.
You can't make this much money over this amount of time. By the way, they also had ads as well. This amount of time, and then go, oh, let's try to rebrand manga streaming, or at least manga, not a la carte, buying it. Manga wholesale in a subscription-based format isn't new anymore.
Yeah.
Crunchyroll's doing it. Shonen Jump is doing it. There's, I think, Digital Comics. Literally, I think it's called Digital Comics.
Yeah.
There's also Comixology, which has a manga section. I'm not saying it's the best, but it exists. There are so many different ways to either buy digitally. Of course, you can buy digitally through iTunes, and I don't know if you can buy digitally through Google Play itself, but you can through iTunes. So there are so many ways to get these manga. And Kindle. Yeah. Why would you sit here and be like, all right, actually, this is now ASMR. Hey guys, we're really sorry, and we would like to make more money, but legally this time. I mean, it's just, Tristan, I've been ranting so long. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I feel like it's also kind of like keeping the name as like MR Comics to keep it close enough to Manga Rock so that people who were following it before can also be like, oh yeah, it's the same people. Or
do you think that's good or bad?
Well, bad, but also in the sense that, yeah, if they're going to do things legit now, and as they say, there's still plenty of other scanlators that do, I feel like, and with you saying it's a little late to get in the game now, like, granted, okay, good on you guys for trying to do it legal now, bit late in the game, but yeah. All right, sure, give you
I'll give them the smallest.
Turn over a new leaf.
I'll give them the smallest props.
Who were following them because, well, it's still
because it was free.
Yeah, I feel like anybody like that is just going to jump ship and go to somewhere else. But
of course,
it's already a subscription anyway. So
here's the thing. So before we even get to that, they claim that they are doing this because they want to. So their vision. right, is a 100% official comics platform. Its vision for the platform is to raise awareness of the problems of scanlations, develop relationships and contracts with publishers and creators, build tools for publishers and creators to distribute and monetize content, and convert free scanlation readers to buyers of official content. Now, while my hands were not on camera at the time, please note that I was doing a jerking off hand gesture. So, the reason why, I just wanted to note, the reason why is because, Tristan, it's just look, first of all, before we even get to that, you mentioned the name being an issue. I agree and disagree. I agree because they're doing it so late. Crunchyroll never changed their name, but they also did it very early into their career, if you will, or their time as Crunchyroll. Now, looking at MR Comics here, it's the fact that they're like, let's raise awareness. Like, this is what it is, right? And by the way, when this happens, here's the thing too. To be honest with you, it's hard to compare it to other things, because if someone was a drug addict and they're like, "Let me tell you about the horrors of drugs," you're like, honestly, they know, you know your stuff, right? Like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, "Well, what do they know?" It's like, well, they know a lot. They were on, they know. But in this case, because this is not a victimless crime, but this is not as harsh as something like a drug addiction. So it just sounds like someone's like, "Okay, let me tell you about the problems with scanlations," okay? Like, it just sounds like a high school guidance counselor who is just like, "Nah, bro. Like, sorry, it's just don't," like, I don't know, like it. And also, you know what it is too, I don't know. It's just, again, it's hard to compare it to other things where someone's trying to quote unquote get clean, because it's not, this isn't alcohol addiction, this isn't sex addiction, this isn't drug addiction, this is scanlations that you were profiting off of, that you could have not just profited off of. There was no addictive property to it. Like, you guys were doing something illegal for 9 years. You made a hefty amount of money from it. And now that you've been called out by the industry, you're like, yeah, look at these assholes over here scanlating. Am I right? Wow, fuck them. Who would do that? We're MR Comics. Who would fucking do that, right?
Yeah.
That's what it comes off as to me, and why it's frustrating. Also, talking about developing those relationships and contracts, I'm not saying that they can't. Again, just getting so late in the game, now it's going to seem disingenuous. And I talk about late in the game so much because with Crunchyroll, there were no anime streaming services at the time. It might seem crazy to think about that because, that's over 10 years ago now. But yeah, there were no anime streaming services. Netflix, while it did exist, and I believe it was a streaming service at that time, I believe it wasn't just DVDs. Yeah. But either way, they didn't have anime the way they do now. So there were no anime, I said manga over and over, but there were no anime streaming services at the time, and manga as well. So that's very relevant. Funimation and High Dive, and even Hulu with how much anime they have now, and Amazon Prime. I know that they had the strike thing that got thrown away, but they still have Prime anime though. They still have anime on their Prime. That's relevant because now they've all followed suit, I would argue, because of Crunchyroll. They set the trend. MR Comics is trying to follow the money because they already had good money, but oh no, we're going to be thrown in jail. Oh, we can't have that. Never mind, we're MR Comics now. So either way, you're thinking, Tristan, before we wrap this one up, you're thinking this is not going to work because anyone who is getting it for free is going to go get it for free somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, I guess them trying to be like, hey, covering their ass in a way, like, hey, we have this fan base, like, if we make this legit, we can bring these fans to you now. And I really don't think, like you said, too little too late. I don't think the industry as a whole is going to look at that and be like, well, I know we've had our hard times, but all right, sure, we'll have you guys on board. Why
exactly
not?
They're
going to look at them and go, fuck off.
Yeah, it worked with Crunchyroll because, again, very early, and they were, I don't want to say pioneers because that might be a bit too dramatic, but they were one of the early companies to start anime streaming the way that it is today. So that's the difference. If MR Comics was doing this in 2012, might have worked, actually. Yeah. But you waited too long, and I mean, it's just, I also don't think it's going to work because, I just think that this is just a ploy to, like you said, cover your ass. It's about the money. And, Yeah, I think that everyone who was because even for Crunchyroll now, you still have some people, very small, but you still have some people going, well, they started off as pirates, so I never want to support them. And it's like, they are literally helping fund the industry. They aren't the only thing funding it, obviously, but they're helping fund the industry with how much money they funnel into anime. But you still have some people saying, it's nope, it's still illegal. So you think that in 2019, MR Comics is going to be able to turn this around? I highly doubt it. They do have some contracts, to be fair, but they're all with Chinese, Korean, and I believe Taiwanese companies. So they're still comics nonetheless. And in a way, I do wish them well because I do want more money into the industry, to be fair. So I'm not saying that they can't turn things around ever,
Right.
but it just feels like it's too little too late for my taste.
Yeah.
Either way, though, tell us what you guys think about all of this stuff down in the comment section down below.